Matthew 13. The same day went Jesus out of the house, and sat by the seaside. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat. And the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Bashem, Rakakwadash. The honor to the elders before us, and peace to you, sincere brothers. The true house of David. And Yahawashi, when he taught this truth, the what he was doing was he was teaching it in a way where it wasn't for the whole world, because he said it is for them to, it's not for everyone, but the mysteries and the things of the Lord were only to a few. That's why when you go into that chapter where it talks about when he took what's that chapter? When he took those three up on that mountain, I think it was Peter, James, and John, I think. But he took them up on that mountain, and just like the Lord, when he took Moses up on that mountain for them 40 days and them 40 nights, what you have to understand, the Lord, he's not dealing with everybody. So therefore, the Lord will have the multitude gravitate to the truth, but then he'll only just be dealing with a few. And what we're teaching and how we've been teaching is very effective, because once you concentrate on discernment and you're showing men how the Lord came, and you go into Yahawashi, what that basically does, it opens a whole nother realm of basically understanding that the Lord taught and he walked in a particular way, you see. So when we say newscaster, if you look at the news in this world, the newscaster, they sit in front of the fucking camera, they read a teleprompter. There's no animation, is no spirit, there's no fucking life there. They're just reading the script, and then they fucking go home. They getting paid, and that's what we mean by it. Now, we know the prophets in the scriptures, they were set up to tell things before they happen. But the way guys are teaching, they're not teaching as like Yahawashi, and that's what we mean. Yahawashi, he taught with authority. A lot of men, they're just teaching just to be teaching. And even when the Lord said this parable, he said that the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven is not for fucking everybody. It's not for everybody. Because when you go to Matthew 13, the Lord said great multitudes were gathered unto him. But the thing about it, the Lord wasn't dealing with those multitudes. So the majority of men, they didn't fucking get it. You see what I'm saying? So ones that was falling on stony places and shit like that, as you read to the parable, this is a parable of men not really being a part of the Lord. Matter of fact, I'll read some of this. But what I'm getting at is only the Lord's true disciples, they actually got it. Now, the thing about it is what you have, just like with Matthew 23, you have it today, which what's happening in these times, you have the majority of men with this truth now, they have been corrupted with the world. So it's no longer like men are teaching for Yahawashi and what the Lord actually represented. They're teaching, like I heard this guy, he say, well, we have to teach to the world because a lot of you guys that have the truth, you already know what's up. Yahawashi never had that mentality. See, the thing about it is certain men, when they teach this word, they tell on their goddamn self. We don't have to do anything. And then the thing is, we're picking up like a lot of shit. Just like I made that sit down a couple of days ago, going into they're not of the Lord anymore. Well, that's actually true. That's actually true. Now, the thing about it is they have the multitude and the people on their side. But for a lot of guys that with this truth, the Lord's not on their side. The Lord's not dealing with everybody. Now, Yahawashi told you that you'll be hated for his name's sake. He told you that. He told you that. And when the fame and all that shit came and God tried to exalt you and make you great, what did the Lord do? He fucking ducked. And like I say, that's the Holy Spirit. And that's, guys are not full of the Holy Spirit. They're full of the deceit, and they're full of the ways of the world, and they're bringing it in the truth, and then they're making it seem like that's how the Lord came. So the beef and the problem and all that is not what guys are saying. It's how they're presenting this thing. So going back to like a newscaster, right? The way the newscaster bring that shit out on the news, that's how guys they treat this thing with not like how the prophets and the Lord did. Because the Lord and the prophets, what did they do? They constantly rebuked. They constantly opened the eyes. The Lord was constantly teaching faith. He was constantly going into discernment. And that's the bulk and the main thing what we're going into. We're going into the heavier matters of the law, which is way more heavier than prophecies. It's way more heavier than faith. The Lord said, if you don't have charity, right, then you're nothing with all your prophecies and all that bullshit. So if you don't have true love in the inside for this word, and if you really don't believe in the Lord, right, then everything that guys are doing for the world and for the fame and all that shit, it's all in vain. So a lot of men just do this for vain fucking glory. You see? Now, Matthew chapter 13 and 1, it says, that same day went Yahawashi out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on shore. Now it says, and he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. Now it says, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and some fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell on stony places that had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. So this is going into men. That's why the scripture tell you have to be like deeply rooted in its truth. Matter of fact, let me grab this real quick and we'll go back to that. But if you understand what I'm saying, you have to be deeply rooted in its truth. Your roots have to go deep. That means you have to really understand certain things, and then you can see guys. You have to like understand yourself first, then you can see guys. Because when you're sincere, and when you really believe in this, you can see guys that don't believe in this. You see what I'm saying? And it's just a facade. It's just a fake. Just like if the Lord said, hey, well, the heavier matters of the law is what I said they are, and you see what men are what the majority of things men are teaching. They're not teaching brothers to actually believe and see this thing. Then you have to really look at that. You have to really look at that, because your life's on the fucking line. Now, these guys, like as Paul told us in Philippians, he said, hey, you're gonna have enemies of the cross. You're gonna have enemies of the cross. Guys they're gonna be many wolves in the midst of the sheep. Matter of fact, let me read this and I'll go there and then I'll go back. Matthew chapter 7, verses 15. It says, beware of false prophets will come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Yeah, Salakia. But anyway, going back into what I was bringing out, the Lord said that He said, beware of wolves. The Lord gave us discernment on certain things. He gave us discernment. He gave us certain things to look out for, man. You see what I'm saying? And all of it that we're saying is he went into those certain things because you could follow a certain way in a certain spirit where the Lord isn't there, and that's the gateway to destruction. And that's why the Lord he's talking about the straight gate, the path of difficulty, which everybody's not going to be in that path of the straight gate. Men will act like they're in the straight gate, but through the spirit you could tell that they're not in the straight gate, because if you're deeply rooted, as I'm going to read, then you would understand that a lot of guys are not actually rooted in Yahawashi like that, because the Lord was teaching that discernment. He was teaching guys to be deeply rooted. But the thing is, you have to understand that. Now, if the Lord was the cornerstone and he was the scriptures was wrote of him, then you would think that guys will walk in the way and in the spirit of the Lord, but it's not that way. You see what I'm saying? Matthew 7:13, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because the straight gate is the narrow way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it, right? It's only going to be a few that actually find the spirit of Yahawashi. You see what I'm saying? So when the Lord talked to the multitude, it wasn't for the multitude, but that's why he spoke in certain, and he said certain things, because it wasn't for everybody. Because when you go to John the 6th chapter, a lot of guys just came to eat the loaves. And that's how it is with this truth. The scriptures say, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. There's only going to be a few that actually find the spirit. So it doesn't really matter about how much knowledge or how much fucking newscasting you do, or the people you know, or you know this guy and I got all this knowledge. It's not even about that. You know, it's about It's actually about you seeing this thing, discerning who's of the Lord and who's not. And that's your job to do that. And you really have to look at this thing for what it is. You have to look at how the Lord and the prophets walk, and you have to apply that, like how guys are walking. Are guys actually hated? Are guys exalted? Are guys making a merchandise of this thing? Are guys actually in the spirit of the Lord? Are they actually bringing out certain topics like these sinkholes all over the world? The Lord is letting you know these sinkholes. When you go back to number 16, he swallowed up whole camps of guys. Now, the condition and the state guys are teaching in. Now, when we say newscaster, we just mean that guys are not teaching in the power. They're teaching like some shit on the news. There's no animation. There's no life there. So what you have to understand is the Lord was letting us know that there's going to be a wide gate that's going to lead to the destruction of many. And he said, what? It's only going to be a few that actually find it. What? The way, the spirit, the way of the Lord, the true way of the Lord. But you have to examine the Lord and the prophets for you to actually really see what's going on. And what's happening is guys are clinging to guys just because of the fame. They're not examining the scriptures. Because in number 16, Korah was destroyed because of the fame. So if you're famous and liked, you go on guys' pages, they get 300 fucking likes. 300 likes, bro. And this is the truth. You're not even supposed to, like, if this world is adverse to the spirit of the Lord, right? So if you're getting those type of views like that, then you're doing something in the way of the world so the world can fucking like you. And that's what we're saying. A lot of guys, they're not teaching in the spirit of the Lord. They're teaching another fucking spirit. Yeah, they're teaching another fucking spirit. It's not the spirit of Yahawashi. It's not a spirit of righteousness. It's a spirit of this world. And what they're doing is they're mingling it with the truth. They're making the truth corrupted. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why the Lord told you like to beware. And then in Matthew 24, he said there are going to be many false prophets, many deceivers. That's not going to be in the spirit, but they're going to be teaching the word. So you have to really see that, man. You have to really see that. Now, verse 15, it says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, right? A lot of men are wolves. A lot of guys, especially right now in this time. Because let me say this, if you're sincere, you can see all the wolves. But if you're not sincere, you're not going to see all the wolves because you are a fucking wolf. You see what I'm saying? And that's why the Lord was talking about you could have all these things, but if you don't have charity, you don't have that love, you're a fucking wolf. It don't matter how much knowledge or how many people be in your live stream because the thing is, if you attract the world to you, then ultimately you're part of the fucking world. The prophets had to hide in caves. The Lord, he had to run away. A lot of men, they taught the prophets, they taught in a way where you wasn't going to keep the world around these men because they were going to say things to get you the fuck out of there, like John in the 6th chapter. When the Lord started going into those things, those parables, they thought he was talking about being a damn cannibalism, eating on my flesh and on my blood. And that got guys the fuck out of there. So you got to look at it, guys. In this time, they're not teaching like in the way of Yahawashi because they're not of the Lord. And I'm going to just say that again. And why is this coming out? Because a lot of men, they're not of the Lord. They're not of the Lord. They're not teaching like the Lord. A lot of guys are not even deeply rooted. So they're not like seeing this thing for themselves. Then you have men that have been in this truth for a long time, which guys are just looking at that. They're not really looking at our guy's still in the spirit. They're just looking at, well, hey, yeah, he's been in the truth this long, this, and this. They're not really examining the spirit because they're not deeply rooted in Yahawashi. So when you're deeply rooted in something, then you could see certain things. That's why you have to believe this for yourself, and then you can see who else don't believe. It's just as simple as that. And that's why the Lord said only few are going to find it, because only a few are actually going to be in the spirit. Now, Colossians chapter 2, verse 6, it says, as ye therefore receive Yahawashi, Hamashiach, the Lord, so walk ye in him. So you have to walk in you have to do what the Lord did, not the ways of the world. Guys are falling into the ways of the world. They're not walking in the way of the Lord. Which, if you truly walk in the way of the Lord, you're truly going to be hated. You're not going to be liked. You're not going to get 300 likes. Everybody's not going to like you like that. That's what guys are making it. They've made it where they make it seem like this is something where you're going to be liked. This is not like that. So that's why we say guys are doing worse than Esau, because they give you a false image of the prophets. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord's going to shut the mouth of the prophets, the true ones. And that's what he's doing, actually. He's actually shutting the mouth, because the few brothers that's actually of the Lord, they're not out there in the limelight. See, this world's wicked, so you're going to get the wicked. They're going to be out on the forefront, because this is the world, earth is given to the hands of the wicked, not just Esau. You know, like the brother brought out Psalms 58. The wicked are estranged from the womb. Not just Esau. Our people too. That's what you have to fucking understand. And I don't know how much I can make somebody understand that. This truth is real heavy. So if you really don't believe like that, you're just gonna follow the crowd. If you're a wolf, you're gonna follow all the wolves. If you're sincere, then you're gonna be a prey for the wolves. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why we have this word to swing this sword, so we could cut down all this bullshit and make certain brothers that are actually of the spirit see this thing. And that's what it's about. Now, as for the multitude, the Lord said they was born in vain. So it don't matter about guys got the multitude. The numbers don't matter. It don't matter. According to the scriptures, the numbers don't matter. The numbers don't matter. According to the scriptures, a lot of guys are not in the spirit of Yahawashi. According to the scriptures, a lot of guys are not going to make it, because the Lord said there are going to be many wolves. So if there are going to be many wolves in the midst of the sheep, there are going to be many deceivers and false prophets. Now, Colossians 2 and 7, it says, rooted and built up in him. So you have to be rooted and built up in him and established in the faith, as ye been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. You see that? Now, check this out. When you're rooted and built up in the Lord, then you can see the fakes and the phonies. That's what I'm saying. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahawashi. You see that? So when you go back to Matthew 13, it said what? Those seeds withered away because there wasn't no deepness in them. So the Lord is saying, hey, you got to beware lest any man spoil you through vain deceit and the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world. See, guys are teaching to the world, after the ways of the world, to gain an audience, or to make money, or to get vain glory. A lot of guys are in this just for vain glory and vain cloud and vain this. And they're not after Yahawashi. Verse 9, for in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, for ye are complete in him. See, the Lord said you're complete in him. That's why you have to study him. Because when you understand the Lord, then you get to see who's not actually of him when you're in him. That's why the Lord said he is the weightier matters of the law. So if the Lord's not really being taught, and guys are not really deeply rooted in the scriptures, then the thing about it is you're going to be deceived. You're going to be deceived. Now, the reason guys are mad at us because we really see, and they can't deceive us. You know, we don't come fucking smooth like that all the time. We're not a smooth jive turkey just trying to gather everybody and be cool with everybody for the money or for the fame or for the clout or for the vainglory. We're not doing this for that. We're doing this. We're real with this thing. We're real with this thing. So we're hated, man. But that's actually great. That's a good thing. It's a good thing, great thing to be hated. Now, when you fall into the rudiments of the world and you're not really in Yahawashi, then it don't matter about how many numbers of people that's following you. You're gonna fall into a big ass pit. A lot of you guys are following a lot of men to destruction, man. The Lord tell you in Matthew 23, guys are making men twofold a child of hell, because what else they're doing is because they're not in the spirit, right? They don't know what the spirit is. Just like the Lord, when the Lord came on the scene, these weak ass Pharisees, they were constantly Salakia. These Pharisees, right, when they came on the scene, they would constantly ask the Lord. They would say, well, you know, let us know if you're the Christ, and let us know if you're the anointed. Because they were so out of it. They were out of it. But they hated the Lord. You see what I'm saying? So you have that same spirit today where guys have the fame and the clout and all that, but they're not in the spirit. That's why we say guys in the newscast the spirit, because they're not of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? They're not of the Lord. They're not teaching Yahawashi. They're not teaching faith. They're not teaching discernment. They're not judging things properly. Let me read this again. Beware of any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Yahawashi. So the Lord was saying, hey, beware, because guys are they're gonna teach this truth in the ways of the world, where it's not gonna be in the way of Yahawashi, which Yahawashi was grounded and he was rooted in his truth. He was deeply rooted. Now it says, for in him dwelleth all fullness of the Godhead of the body, bodily. And ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power. You see what I'm saying? So, basically, when you go back to, Matthew 13. Now, when you go back to Matthew 13, what's happening to guys in the spirit, they're fucking withering away. Yeah, Salakia, man. Shit, I'm at work. Anyway, what's happening to guys, right? Because they don't have no deeply roots in them. Through the spirit, guys have lost the spirit. Like, we can see guys, they're teaching this truth, and they're not in the spirit of Yahawashi. They're not in the spirit. They're not in the Holy Spirit. They're teaching in a way so they can keep their audience. They're not teaching as like Yahawashi. They're not, man. Even they fucking newscast every day. The Esau, he newscasts and he brings things out. That newscasting spirit is not the spirit of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? It's not the spirit of the Lord. Now, it says, right, Matthew chapter 13, verse 5, and some fell on stony places. It says, where they had not much earth, and forth with they sprung up because they had no deepness of the earth. So you got to get deep into this thing, and sometimes being in this truth for a long time, it could work against you, man. It could work against you. That's why we got to get the fuck out of here. Because you could become in a reprobate mind where you think you're still teaching the truth, but then you're not even in the spirit. And then guys that's in the spirit, you end up hating them because you've been in this truth for so fucking long, you don't know what the spirit is. You don't know what the spirit is. You see what I'm saying? The topics men are going into, and you've been in this truth for that fucking long, that says something. That really says something. That says that guys have been swallowed up with the world. If you're not really teaching in the spirit of Yahawashi, you got to look at that, man, and don't stop having to respect the persons. Because at about this time, the corruption level is very high when you're dealing with this world. And it said, verse 6, and when the sun was up, they were scorched because they had no root and they withered away. And we're watching guys, they're withered away in the spirit. Because a lot of guys, they really didn't have no deep roots in it. Like I say, like sometimes you've been in this truth for a while, it could end up working against you. And now you're in the spirit. And especially when you get the fame in the cloud, you're in the spirit of those scribes and those Pharisees, where they could not discern the Holy Spirit. They couldn't discern it anymore. They was against it. So what did they end up doing? They're going to end up leading the multitude to destruction. That's why the Lord said, hey, let the blind lead the blind. They're blind guides. But the Lord said, whosoever exalt himself, they're going to be abased. And guys have exalted themselves. So that's what's going on today. Matthew 23 and 15, it says, woe to you scribes and Pharisees. And guys never go to Matthew 23 or they don't really break down Luke 11 or number 16. Like, so you have to, because these are major discerning chapters and certain things. A lot of things are major. You know, the whole scriptures are major, but when guys avoid things because they see themselves there, then you gotta be like, well, guys are really wicked. Guys are really wicked. A lot of guys have lost the spirit. They had it. Some men had it and they lost it. But what's going on is guys are not in the Holy Spirit, but they're still holding the Lord's word and they're corrupt. And we see they as plain as day. Matthew 23 and 15. Woe to you scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pass sea and land and make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more a child of hell than yourselves. Right? And so when you go into the little ones, right? The Lord said, if you offend one of those, it's just better if a millstone wrapped around your fucking neck and you drown in the sea. That's what guys are doing. By them not really understand who the Lord is with, because let me make another point too. The prophets in the old scriptures, the prophets and the men of the Lord, they knew the Lord was with them, and they knew they were men of the Lord. That's why Elijah said, hey, if I be a man of the Lord, let the fire come down out the sky. And the Lord did that for him. Moses, he knew the Lord was with him. He said, go talk to these people. The Lord, he talked to Moses in the burning bush. So the men of the Lord had got confirmed that the Lord was with them. They were confirmed that the Lord was with them. You see what I'm saying? Not due to the popularity and the fame and the cloud of this world. That don't make you a man of the Lord. Because when you get the fame and the cloud and the popularity, then you're not teaching in the spirit of the Lord, because you don't want to be hated, because you want to keep all that. You see what I'm saying? So guys going into vocab Malone and these motherfuckers of the world, and they steady going into women. They're going into like these topics that don't bring discernment. Guys are fucking reprobates, man. They're fucking reprobates. A lot of you guys, man, are pieces of shit. And the Lord is going to kill you guys. Matthew 23. So you have to be deeply rooted. You have to be being deeply rooted in the Lord, like the Lord was. Let me read this again. Woe to you blind guides. Let me read this, 15. Matthew 23 and 15. Woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you can pass sea and land to make one proselyte. And when he is made, you make him twofold more of a child of hell than yourselves. You make guys worse. So when you go back to the little ones, when you go into the breakdown of the little ones, when you make them look bad in a bad light, that's offending them. Because to the world, you're making them look like, hey, they're unclean, they're unholy, they're this and that. But what you're actually doing is you're setting yourself up and everybody that follows you. So just like Korah in number 16, it didn't matter who followed Korah. It was elders, it was young guys. They all got swallowed up in the fucking pit. Just like now, guys are swallowed up because they're following certain guys That's pieces of shit. They're not in the spirit, man. The scriptures say the watchmen will see eye to eye. And we do not see eye to eye. At this time, camps are corrupted, man. They're corrupted. The leaders are corrupted. The guys on high, they're corrupted. Because they're on high, they're corrupted. That's why the Lord said, take the fucking low. That's why he said, take the low. So now you're up high and you can't see. And when you're on low, you know where the spirit is. It says, woe to ye blind guides, would say, it says, woe to ye blind guides. Yeah, so the Lord is going to destroy the wicked, man. The Lord's going to destroy the wicked. And that's why this discernment is going out, because it's like you really have to believe this for yourself. Therefore, you can see who actually believes. Genesis 13:13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Guys are exceedingly wicked right now in this time. With the word. Me and the brother was talking last night. Guys are way more wicked than what we see what's going on. Guys are really wicked deep down. Job 11:20. But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost. So the eyes of the wicked is failing them. They can't see. They can't see. Psalm 37:16, it says, a little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. The wicked is many, man. They work in demons and groves. Now, what has happened to this truth? The spirit ain't out there with like camps like that. You have to find where the spirit is, man. You have to find where the spirit is, because camps are not in the spirit. They're going to get you destroyed. But the Lord is a fair power. So he sets up certain men to like let you know these things. So like once it's out there, you know, it's on you. Because what do? We washed our hands. We getting the blood off our hands by letting you know like a lot of guys are corrupted. You see what I'm saying? Psalm 37:16, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteousness. The righteous, right? The Lord is really upholding us brothers, man. Let me get another one. I'm going to get out of here. Proverbs 14:11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacles of the upright shall flourish. So you have to be deeply rooted in this truth. And Yahawashi, if he was here today, he'd be cussing all you guys out like the prophets would. And we are here today. And what are we doing? We cussing you weak-ass guys out. And that's why a lot of you guys, right, you do these weak-ass live streams every day. But what does the Lord say? Let me read these scriptures right here. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 6. And the house of the righteous is much treasure, but the revenues of the wicked is trouble. These guys are leading you to trouble. Being in the time of Jacob's trouble, these guys are trouble. They are the trouble. Because now they're deceitful teaching the Lord's word. They're not of the Lord, man. Now, verse 7, it says, the lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. Right? The guys are not really teaching you discernment and faith, what the Lord walked in. That's why you have to be deeply rooted in this truth. If you're not, you're going to be destroyed. If you're not sincere, you're a wolf. If you're not sincere, you're a fucking wolf. And you know what? What's fucked up is the longer you've been in this truth, the more fucked up you could possibly become, especially if you're taking the fame. Because guys are totally corrupted, man. They can't see who's of the Lord. They don't know where the spirit is. They don't know what. They think vocab alone is, guys think vocab alone in this, you know what I'm saying? They teach them about vocab alone. What the fuck the edification is going to come from vocab alone? Or certain things you guys are going into, man. That's why the Lord got you guys. He already snatched your fucking light. Guys don't have the light anymore. They just have the light of the world. But they're dark in the Lord. Now, Proverbs 15:8, the sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. So whatever you guys are doing, it's an abomination. The works you do is an abomination. It's not of the Lord. It says the way of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but he loveth him that follow after righteousness. So you have to, like the scripture saying, number 16, you can't touch none of what they have, man. But yeah, man, you got to be deeply rooted. The Lord was deeply rooted, so you got to be deeply rooted. You got to really see this thing, man. This is a soldier's walk. And the majority of men, they're not soldiers. They're all blindly just following shit. And the Lord tells you in John chapter 16, they shall what? They shall do certain things, and they think they doing God's speed when they do certain things to you. When you be kicked out the synagogues and shit like that, that's a blessing. See, guys ain't even studying the scriptures. There's so much in the flesh. They're not even really like understanding and analyzing the scriptures anymore. Guys are just overtaken with this world. And you got to really see that, man. But that's it, man. I'm gonna get out of here. You know, Lord willing, that was edifying. And you got to be deeply rooted. You got to be deeply rooted in the Lord, and you got to see this thing for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Be deeply rooted and grounded, as the Lord said. There was no deepness, so guys withered away. The multitude of guys that's following God, they're not deeply rooted. They're just following some shit because of the famous. You see, and you see that spirit. Guys only want to meet guys and be in groups because it's all about the fame. It's not about the Lord. So that's why the Lord has swallowed guys up, and His Holy Spirit is not in camps like that. It's not there. It's just a bunch of fucking brute beasts and big musty guys that's in a fucking animalistic mind frame, and they're teaching the word for clout and fame. And the Lord have left their ass a while ago. Have left guys, man. And the spirit is out there where you gotta find it. It's like a secret door. It's like the Matrix. It's like you gotta find that phone booth to the Nebuchadnezzar, and you gotta fucking call that motherfucker, and you gotta get to that certain phone booth. That's where the truth is and shit. With Neo and shit, and you get that call. See, a lot of guys, they've made this truth like the Matrix now. This truth is like the Matrix. This truth is like the Matrix, man. Everybody swallowed up, and that's what them sinkholes represent. Men that's been swallowed up. But if you're deeply rooted, you won't be swallowed up. Hey, but with that, shalom.